I would like to talk about analytical philosophy because I tried to detach myself from Hegel, and I wanted to read and try to understand what the non-Hegelians and anti-Hegelians philosophers, which came after Hegel, had to say about Hegel, because I had actually never read any anti-Hegelian philosopher, because in the view that I had in 2018, the anti-Hegelian philosophers of the past 2 centuries were a part of Hegel's system, which enabled the system of Hegel to become effective, wirklich, actual, because the very fundamental determination of Hegel's system is that it needs its own negation in order to become itself. And so I had an understanding that the anti-Hegelian philosophers, and philosophy for the past 2 centuries has been an attempt to refute Hegel, and I thought that I had understood, maybe the only idea that I understood is that all the negations of Hegel are part of Hegel's coming into being, in a way. And I would like to read what Bertrand Russell said and thought about Hegel. And he said, it's from the problems of philosophy. Hegel's philosophy is very difficult, and commentators differ as to the true interpretation of it. According to the interpretation I shall adopt, which is that of many, if not most, of the commentators, and has the merit of giving an interesting and important type of philosophy, his main thesis is that everything short of the whole is obviously fragmentary and obviously incapable of existing without the complement supplied by the rest of the world. Just as a comparative anatomist from a single bone sees what kind of animal the whole must have been, so the metaphysician, according to Hegel, sees from any one piece of reality what the whole of reality must be, at least in its large outlines. Every apparently separate piece of reality has, as it were, hooks which grapple it to the next piece in turn has fresh hooks, and so on, until the whole universe is reconstructed. This essential incompleteness appears, according to Hegel, equally in the world of thought and in the world of things. In the world of thought, if we take any idea which is abstract or incomplete, we find on examination that if we forget its incompleteness, we become involved in contradictions. These contradictions turn the idea in question into opposite or antithesis, and in order to escape, we have to find a new, less incomplete idea, which is the synthesis of our original idea and its antithesis. This new idea, though less incomplete than the idea we started with, will be found nevertheless to be still not wholly complete, but to pass into its antithesis, with which it must be combined in a new synthesis. In this way, Hegel advances until he reaches the absolute idea, which, according to him, has no incompleteness, no opposite, and no need of further development. The absolute idea, therefore, is adequate to describe absolute reality. I will not read the rest for now, but I was struck to notice that Bertrand Russell, although he was strictly speaking anti-Hegelian, he admired the sublime aspect of Hegel's system. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share.